For many juniors, college essay writing is right around the corner. Joining me today to talk about the do's and don'ts of essay writing is Miss Matisse, one of Valor's wonderful college counselors who's also doing a college essay writing workshop in the summer. Miss Matisse, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's so great to be with you. Thanks for asking me, Charlotte.
So first of all, let's start with the positives. What do you think that colleges are looking for in their personal essays?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a big thing they're looking for is, can you write? You're going to have to be doing some writing in college, so colleges want to know that you are academically prepared to be successful, right? So they're going to be reading your essay. Has this student crafted an essay? Have they edited it? Are there spelling errors? Are there, anything like that? You really want to have someone look over multiple times. So on a really basic level, they're trying to assess whether you can write well or not. On a secondary level, they're trying to see who you really are. Are you bringing an element of creativity? Are you sharing with them like something unique about yourself? Can you be reflective? It's really like the biggest chance for your voice to shine through. So they're really trying to get a glimpse of who is this person applying to our college.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. And how can you respond to prompts uniquely? As in, like, how can you take a typical prompt, like, why do you want to go to our college? Or, like, what's your passion? And kind of diversify it to make your application stand out.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think this is one of the bigger ones, especially for students that are maybe applying to a reach school that academically speaking, it might be slightly out of their reach. A lot of schools will ask the, why do you like us? Why do you want to come here question? And I think a way to stand out is to really find something at that school that you actually like, and keep it specific to that school. So whenever I ask someone a question like that, I might hear them say, well, I love that the campus is in a city. And then I'll ask, well, there's a lot of campuses in a city. What makes you like this one? Well, I love that it has an engineering program. Cool. Lots of colleges in cities have engineering programs. So you have to really drill down, like, what about the school? Is there a program? Is there a professor who's done incredible research that you're intrigued by? Is there a really unique study abroad program that you would just, give your left hand to be able to participate in? You really want to find something unique to that school and talk about how that pertains to you and why you'd be a great fit for that institution. So really push yourself to down past the cliches colleges often hear that probably apply to a lot of different colleges.
Right, perfect. And finally, to round out the positives, what do you think is your best tip for writing college essays?
Yeah, I would say best tip would be to start early and to start often. I think a lot of times students just try to sit down, crank out an essay, cool, we're done. Well, wait a couple weeks, see if you have any more ideas, try it again. Wait a couple more weeks, try it again, and have other people read it, have other people edit it. Picture this as a process and an important, classroom assignment. You don't just kick it out in a night. This is your one chance to actually have your voice be communicated to the college, as opposed to just what your transcript says or what your activities list say or what people say about you. It's your chance to have a voice. So take some time, start early, and start often.
And now we're going to dive into just a few negatives. First of all, what do you think are some cliches that students should avoid in their personal essays?
Yeah, I think one thing that's really interesting. So I have worked in admissions for almost a decade, which means I've read thousands of applications. Thousands. It's a lot. And I would sometimes just keep a mental tally of how many essays were about athletics and like a sporting event. Well, I love that you're playing a sport. That's great. But you detailing out a sporting event that was really important to you doesn't help me understand who you are. Injuries, deaths, mission trips, while those are like huge, important things and you can write about them, it's really important that you communicate something about you in those. So you don't want it just to be, details about that experience, but what did you learn from it? What did you gain from it? How were you changed through that process if you decide to do those? But I'd really use a strong if in that because they are overdone and you want to stand out. You don't want to blend in. So maybe think twice about doing any of those.
And then do you think that there's anything else in general that a student should avoid doing when writing any kind of college essay?
Yeah, so there's two things that come to mind. One is every so often, as I was reading college essays, I would be like, this kid is great. I love what they're bringing to their table. They're strong academically. They're involved in all these cool things. And as the admissions counselor, I'm thinking, oh, they're going to be great here. And then I get to the final sentence and they tell me how pumped they are to go to a different institution than mine. So I think it's important to remember that the common application essay is not just going to your dream school. It's going to all the schools you're applying to. So don't really sell it in the Common App. You can do that in the questions they ask you on the side. That's great, but don't do it in the common application essay that goes to all the schools. Another thing that comes to mind, do not make it something other than who you are. Don't do that thesaurus game where you just start to plug in multisyllabic words so you sound smarter. We're pretty smart and we can tell when a student's being inauthentic. We want to see who you are, the real you. And
finally, how much of an impact do the college essays have on your application as a whole?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, college representatives are asking the question, is this person academically prepared to be successful? So they're looking at your transcripts, the test scores, they're looking at what classes you've taken. Is it an upward trend or a downward trend? So first and foremost, can you be successful at our institution? I think an essay is a great place for you to stand out, for you to maybe tip the scale in your direction. Sometimes it can be a make or break decision depending on how selective an institution is and what you're bringing to the table. So picture it like a pie chart, okay? The majority of the pie is going to be your transcript. There's another sliver of that pie that's going to be test scores, whether you choose to submit them or not. And then there's going to be probably, I don't know, don't count up the thirds and the quarters or anything, but like the slice of the pie is probably about a third that they're looking at. Okay, what is the student up to? What did the student have to say in their essay? What about those letters of rec? But first and foremost, the biggest chunk of that pie is what did they do on a day in, day out basis to develop the study habits, the discipline and intellect to be successful here. So I would say it's important. It's not the full weight of the application, but it is important.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Valor, especially you juniors, be sure to sign up for the college essay writing workshops if you need a little extra help. They are this summer and the dates have been scrolling below. Thank you.
Great, thanks.